The summary of the whole thing is that unless I attach it, speaking about Nigeria, it will have no meaning. It will be just another academic this. So I will touch on most of these things. I'll be making references to our country. You see, when I saw that UK Trade and Investment was working with the company to sort this out, I just wanted you to know that United Kingdom was also a poor country, like us years ago. But they found three things. And they found attributes of the free market, which we're talking about here. They used it. They found respect and application of the rule of law as you do the free market things, but they discovered the use of science-based technology. Put these three together, that country or continent became rich and wealthy. The North Americans saw that with a lot of migration from the British system, and then they also adopted these with the same consequences, and it is now happening in Asia. Asia also saw this, and they are looking. So this is the menu. If we are actually to, and I say, what about Africa? Indeed, Nigeria is very critical. If you look at this country, you find that the whole continent is actually looking at three major countries. Don't mind what is happening in the other good things of Egypt in the north, big country, big economy. Nigeria in the middle, big country, big economy. South Africa in the south. But you see, when you look at Egypt, Egypt actually decides to be African when they want. Thank you. You know, so when it is convenient, it's actually Gulf and Arab, and you are left behind. When it is convenient, it's actually Africa. And sometimes to comfort the Egyptian and the North, we say Africa south of the Sahara, meaning that we are subtracting some few countries, including Egypt. If you go to South Africa, South African economy is actually very European. They used to be a nuclear power. So it's not quite with when my Oga, the MD, was talking about, our markets and so on, it's not very South African if it is economically. So this continent actually depends on Nigeria. If Nigeria doesn't get it right, it will be very difficult for this continent. So that is why I summarize this. And so the application of science, technology, and innovation to develop any nation is actually, in a big picture, applied by any country. And there's a menu too to that. The first is you try to ensure that absolute poverty among your people is totally eradicated. Some of the things that we hang on to as our culture are actually primitive practices. You should sweep it off with a broom. But no, because we have failed to conquer this, it becomes relevant in our lives. And I have not seen a country that have not conquered absolute poverty. Basic education. Every child should go to school. Water. Everybody should drink clean water. And so on. And then become very good managers of their own infrastructure. I've not seen that country yet. So this has to be conquered first. So that people have got confidence to put the street lights off. To make sure that if there are leakages, it's a problem. To make sure that garbage is collected. See, this mental culture starts from here. When you don't do this only, you have to go to another level. When you get this basic, then you have to move everybody, not just to this basic minimum need, but people should have all the opportunities to lead a happy, safe, and fulfilling life by making sure that people have got skills, making sure that people can actually have a job, no matter whether it is a babysitter, whether it is a cleaner of gutters, and so on and so forth. That skill has to be acquired by people so that it is the same people who are painting and paying a bit of tax, the same people who can say, yes, I am spending a little. If you don't get to this level, you are not going to conquer that again until you reach the highest level whereby your country emerges as a knowledge and learning society built on many progressive values so that you are breeding institutions that are of class, world-class institutions. You are building global products and know-how so that people know that you are serious. And then you are innovative, responding to problems with time. This is a menu. If you try to cut at the last point, you will have a problem. Because the indicators for each country is that if you follow those three things, you will see that your economy will be modern. young people coming out of schools instantly know what to do. I've been to university to study poultry so that I'll come back and be able to be an entrepreneur in poultry. Well-focused productivity so that you don't remain just a consumer. You should also be producing, and so on and so forth. Now, that's countries that have followed this menu and have sustained it, and we proudly call them the first world, developed countries. Then some countries that are learning from these countries, we now call them emerging countries, which are the second world. But there are a bunch of countries that have refused to learn. Either they don't know, or they know and they have refused to learn, and they have so many nomenclature. Sometimes they are developing, sometimes they are least developed, sometimes they are underdeveloping, or completely underdeveloped. These are the problem countries. Now, I was reading a book. You will get a paper, this paper, there's no IP on it. I was reading this book, 21st Century Technologies, Promises and Perils of a Dynamic Future, written by OECD. And I'm telling you, on page 34, it's on the internet. If you just Google this, you download the whole document. And I saw a very interesting phrase. It says, the third world, those bunch of not learning countries, the third world countries, refers to those countries, Bangladesh and Nigeria are examples that are in severe strain with no clear path to a positive future. I know. If OECD were to be a human being here, I'm sure we'll lynch it. How dare you say this? But you see, when you see the bunch of developed countries, serious countries, say this about you, you need to think again. That's the message. It's not to get annoyed and draw a dagger. It's to be able to look back and look at what you're wearing, look at what you're eating, and then see that is it possible to beat that. And when you look at Nigeria, the reason why these countries look at us and say this very, very tough is that they look at us, we are many people, 200 million people. I am not British. When I went to England to school, every morning I get 2 bottles of fresh milk. It's welfare. They know that drinking milk will make you better. Your brain, your eyes, your spine, everything. So by coming from Nigeria with your poverty, they have to lift you at a point so that you can be able to balance. So you don't go again breaking things and consequences. Now, imagine drinking milk is an index of development. Just imagine that half of Nigerians, 100 million people, will get 1 glass of milk per day.